All right, hi babes. Sebastian back here again with another video. Are you guys seeing how I'm being consistent with my words, matching it with the actions? So happy to be back again, and thank you so much for the support on my latest videos. Gagged. But yeah, I am back again and I'm here to talk more of my shit. In my latest video, you know, I was talking a lot about, you know, finding yourself and basically appreciating who you are as an individual, as the person you are, and owning it to the fullest. I kind of have realized that, okay, the confidence that I have built, what has it truly been built upon? When it comes to me, I feel like I haven't truly found myself yet. I feel like I have this confidence that has been built more on surviving and not so much maybe on like truly analyzing and understanding who I am. And I think a lot of people can relate to that as well. I think a lot of people haven't even come into the stage where I'm at yet, because being confident in a sense the way is kind of like what protects you a lot as well from different types of situations when it comes to people. And I was just kind of like thinking about this a couple days ago, and I was like, wait, it feels like I haven't really found who I am. I don't really know who I am to the fullest. I feel like people have been gaslighting me a lot throughout my whole life about who I actually am, how I should be, how I should be acting. And sometimes I think also when you are younger and people constantly tells you something about yourself, you start to think, wait, maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that, maybe I'm that, maybe I'm this, you know? It becomes very exhausting when you are surrounded with people who just wants to be your friend for like the proximity, but not truly for, you know, the genuine bond that typically can be built if a friendship is, you know, emotionally built in the proper way. I tend to lack a lot of those friendships, and that's why I have a few friends as I am rebuilding my confidence, because I wouldn't say that my confidence has been shattered or ruined or whatever. Because here's the thing, I will be just bluntly honest. I have a lot of fucking aura, okay? I am a woman who has ton shit of aura, and whether people want to admit it or not, I know how people talk to me, I know this how people look at me, I know this how I get treated. And in real life, you sense the feeling of someone who is not small and who is going to places. And I know that I radiate that. You know, I dress every day for success. And I will tell you guys something. Once when I was in my apartment, I was taking the what is it called, elevator? Yeah, the elevator, and one of my neighbors entered the elevator, and the first thing she said in the elevator, she checked me down, up, down, an older lady. She was like, dressed for success, you know. I was just going to my 9 to 5, you know, but I was still making sure that I was dressed in a sense of way where I looked good, because that's how I feel good, you know. And as someone who has a lot of aura, I know that I'm going places. I know that I will succeed. I know that I will win. I know that I will be a household name. I know that I will be recognized. And a lot of people usually can sense when there is so much potential within you and when you are about to go places. So in that sense of way, my confidence has been built on surviving the motherfuckers who constantly has tried and still are trying to gaslight me into thinking that I should be something else, I should act something like that, I should just change myself. But it kind of has made me detach so much from other layers of myself, because I have just been focusing on the external layers of myself. Like I've been focusing more on the outer focus, where the focus is more success and more independence and more just like, I moved out when I was 17. I got my first place when I was 17. I've lived alone for like 7 years, you know. I'm 24 today. paid rent and everything. Like I started like a lash business when I was 19, invested all my money and just like continued doing that. For me, money just in general, it has never been about status. A lot of people, when they see me, they think that like I interpret money with status. For me, money has always been freedom, you know. Ever since I was young, ever since I was, you know, a teenager, I have always just walked around and told everybody I'm going to become famous. I'm going to become famous. I was so obsessed with, you know, I'm a film girl, so I was obsessed with movies, watching films, actors, singers. Like I was on YouTube all the time listening to music before going to school. Like I was just so amazed by media and how people had the balls to do what they actually want to do, you know. Like, you know, when Disney was really popping, I feel like if you were like an older Gen Z, you would get what I mean. But Disney back then was really the shit, and I even wanted to become an actress on Disney. Like I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm 11, like I can apply for this, you know. Like I've just always seen so much more bigger for myself. But I think everything has been with the thought of having freedom in my life. Money to me is freedom, you know. It's all about freedom. Like it's all about being able to be free in who I am. And I feel like that's what I always keep chasing. That's what I always keep hunting. But I think it is important, which I'm trying to do now, to understand the deeper meaning of who I am. I don't know, like, if anything I'm saying now makes sense. I feel like I'm just talking shit, but this is usually like how it should go, you know. No script, no nothing, just talking shit. When you feel like you just in general do not fit in to somewhere, you kind of start to, like, you kind of have to analyze where, you know, those cause of thoughts come from about yourself. Because like I said previously, people genuinely all the time try to gaslight me. Like I feel like people try to gaslight me because I know I'm not crazy. Maybe I am a little bit crazy, but I know I will get the things I want in this life. I know that I will be very, very successful. I know that I'm building a household name. To be able to get the things you actually desire in this life, you have to be a genius, you know. And that always comes with a little madness. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm like, oh, I am like, because hear me out. I know that I am a little bit controversial. I know that I've said a lot of controversial shit, you know, and I'm not like backing down from it. Like I'm not ashamed about it, you know. Like I'm not like here sitting here gonna act like I'm this all nice and shiny girl. Like I'm not, you know. I'm a very raw, authentic bitch. That's just what it is. That's just who I am, you know. Like I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat anything. I don't need to be fake for anything, you know. Being fake doesn't grant me anything, okay? When you're real, you don't worry about what's fake and shit. So for me, everything in this life is very real. Everything, every emotion that I sense, everything that happens around me, it's just very real. And I sense it to the core because I'm so emotionally deep. And I don't think, like, I'm a very intense person. That's why when some guys, they want to date me, because a lot of guys want to date me, I'm the biggest cock blocker, by the way. Like I'm the biggest cock blocker. Like I rarely date because I'm just like, I just know like you wouldn't be able to handle me. Anywho, let's go back to the subject. I'm just changing but right now I think it's important to always just try to rebuild your confidence. Because the confidence that you have now, if you haven't started to build your confidence, you need to start earning it from yourself. I say this all the time because it's super important to earn it from yourself. I have already earned it from myself, you know, so I'm halfway there. But there's another layer of myself that I feel like I need to rebuild, because I know that my confidence has been built more on surviving and not maybe so much on, you know, loving all the layers of who I am. Because there's a lot of layers of us that I think we tend to hide. I just feel like some people truly will never know who you are as a person. Some people may sit back and think to themselves, oh, we know who she is, we know who that is, we know that behavior, trust me, we know who she is. But in my heart, in my spirit, I feel like no one truly knows who I am, just because they get a glimpse of the thing. Because people do not understand, you only show them what you're comfortable with. There's a lot of people that I met who are a little bit like in the head, and immediately they will tell you their traumas, they will tell you their stories, they will tell you everything, you know. And I have never been someone who is very open when it comes to my life. The parts that I choose to show and to tell you about are things that do not trigger me anymore. So when people get a slight access of someone who has a lot of aura, who is very, you know, fascinating, I would say, I would call myself very fascinating, you know. Honestly, I would call myself very fascinating. I know I'm a very fascinating human individual. Like, being this sexy, hot, beautiful, and, you know, just owning kind of like who you are, it takes a lot of balls. A lot of people are afraid to step out of their comfort zone, step out of their shells, you know, because they are just like too afraid of that journey. I'm not afraid of my journey, you know. Like, every day, because I remember once I spoke with my friend, and I remember I told her, I was like, honestly, like, if I'm honest with you, I think the most exciting thing about becoming successful, becoming rich, becoming a household name is actually the journey to get there. Like, that's what excites me the most, genuinely. And so far, the whole journey has been shit. The whole journey has been shit. But it has taught me so much about myself. And it keeps, like, now I'm realizing that silence and distance is your answer. No matter what people say, silence and distance is your answer. I've always been such a reactive person. And whenever I have reacted, whenever I've defended myself, I have always gotten the blame. I've always been the problem. I've always been the one who gets, like, expelled from school. Always been the one who gets fired, whatever. I don't care about the fire part, you know, that's iconic. But I have always been seen as a problem as soon as I react, because when I react, everyone hears it, everyone sees it, you know. But that's me always feeding the emotional validation to other people who wants to see that, because triggering me, getting reaction of me, feeds them, you know. Like, it feeds them, it boosts their ego. And when you are someone who vibrates highly, when you are someone with aura, babes, like, your energy needs to be polished. And my dad always says to me, you react to an idiot by silence. This year, upcoming year, and moving forward, the only focus should be on you becoming your highest self version. That's the only focus. Only focus right now is to become the highest, beautiful self version of myself. I meet her every day. I have seen her, you know, like, I dream about her, I visualize about her. But what is it, like, because a lot of people you will meet, they will tell you, oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to be that. You know, I have stopped telling people what I'm going to be and who I'm going to become, because people who in general never believe in themselves, for them, you talking your shit is just noise, you know. You don't tell small-minded people your ideas. You don't go and communicate with people your ideas. Whenever I talk with someone who maybe do not vibrate the same frequency level as me, or isn't maybe as emotionally intelligent as me, and hear me out, I'm not expecting everybody to have the same mindset as me. I'm not expecting everybody to, like, think like me. it's very healthy to have friends who are different compared to you, which I do have. But a lot of people will think that they do understand where you're coming from. They think that they get where you're coming from, but in general, whenever you talk with them, you just immediately get turned off. I tend to give a lot to people and receive less back. I'm a very generous person, but I never received the same appreciation back. I never received the same loyalty back. I have learned to move more strategic in this life. I think when you are a little bit sensitive, which I'm kind of realizing that I am, because before I was like, I'm not sensitive, you know, but I am sensitive in a sense of way, you know, like I am sensitive to energies, I'm sensitive to like people and things like that. And I think embracing it and understanding it as well opens another layer of me and my confidence as well. I think a lot of us are in survival mode, and being stuck in survival mode never makes us evolve into the other layers of ourselves. Because think like this, like the person, like if you could meet yourself 10 years ago, like if I could meet myself 10 years ago, my 14-year self, I don't think, like I think she would be so gagged to see me now, you know, like I think she would be so gagged to see who I have become so far. So imagine in 10 years when I'm like 33, like imagine when, you know, she looks back in this and like, oh my god, like imagine me seeing her then. Imagine you seeing yourself like 10 years back in advance.